Welcome. And today we're going to do our first episode of The State of the Multiverse, where we talk about what's going on in multi-tools, pocket knives, and EDC gear in general. Now, I'll probably expand on this series at some point to cover all different types of stuff, but this is what we're going to talk about today, specifically multi-tools and pocket knives. So, beginning, let's go with Gerber. Gerber actually has been doing relatively well, except that, like normal, you don't know what the heck is coming out of Gerber ever. You have to be lucky enough to kind of get some insider information. Now, we know and have known about the Lockdown pocket knife series for a little while now. Here's some pictures. There's two variants, a Lockdown Pry and a Lockdown Drive. One has a bit driver, one has scissors and a pry tool. I don't know exactly how these are going to fare until I have them in my hands, but on first glance, the Lockdown Pry looks like my kind of shtick. The price is decent at $59, not great, but a lot of the implements lock. It has a pocket clip, so I'm hoping it will be at least an improvement over the armbar with any luck. That's cool, but what I'm more excited about is a tool that I couldn't believe existed when I saw it spoiled. I was like, there's no way Gerber made this tool. And that is the Gerber Dual Force. Now, this is a tool that is very much dedicated to heavy use, specifically trades. I would say tradesmen are really going to get a lot of use out of this tool. It's a slip joint plier head, meaning it can be opened much wider and grab onto things. And on top of that, it appears that the plier head itself is actually laminated pieces of forged steel, which means it's going to be also much stronger than the cast plier heads that we get most of the time in multi-tools. That's not it. That's not all of it. On top of that, on the outside, we have four long implements. A bit driver, the same one we have on the center drive. A full-size saw, a file, which might have a chisel end, we don't know. And a blade, which looks like it's identical to the one we find on the center drive, and looks like it could be straight edge as well. That's practically a perfect tool set. I know people will say, well, what about scissors? Well, in this case, for a tool like this, somebody who needs a scissor in the trades is going to carry a true electrician's scissor, which I don't have right now. But that's what they're likely to carry. So this is just the right set of implements, in my opinion. And on top of that, like the Gerber center drive, instead of having just one bit holder, there's two of them and no internal tools on the Dual Force. So there's one here and one there, and basically you have a total of three full-sized hex bits built into the tool. And instead of opening like this, it actually opens like a standard Leatherman would. So there's a lot of things to talk about when we get this tool, and I will absolutely be purchasing it. It appears it's going to be under $100. From what information we have, it looks like somewhere in the $80 range, which is phenomenal for a tool like this that's going to be a money maker for people. So I'm pretty excited. Now, Gerber, they're doing a pretty good job. Leatherman, on the other hand, has had an interesting run. It started with releasing the Bond, and it wasn't bad. I actually liked it. It had a bit of an issue with the blade, not the end of the world. In case you didn't know, the blade basically is based on the rebar, and the spring system doesn't engage, so the tip of it can stick out a little bit without engaging the spring. It's honestly not the end of the world. It's just lazy design. The curl, on the other hand, I really liked pretty much from soup to nuts. The only problem I have with it is the price. It's at a $70 price point, and I think it would be much, or is it $80? It's an $80 price point, and it would be much better served at $70 in its current iteration with the pocket clip. I think at that price, it's pretty phenomenal. Everyone I've talked to that's used it has actually been pretty impressed at how good the retention is on the inner tools. It's a good tool. I don't know if it's going to work in the current price of $80, but time will tell. And today, I found out for the first time about the Leatherman Bolster. Now, I've heard the name over a year and a half ago, but I didn't know what it was. Most of us speculated that it was actually a heavy-duty tool. Turns out it was the literal opposite of that. And here it is. So this is a package that somebody found or purchased at a Costco from, supposedly. But basically, it is a toned-down version of the Sidekick. Now, if you thought this was minimal, basically they just took away the saw. Now, it's not a rev. A rev does not have the spring-loaded pliers, and it does not have a one-handable blade, which the Sidekick does, which is basically what you're getting, an updated rev. Except they haven't discontinued the rev. So I'm very, very confused, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. So only time will tell what's going on with this whole thing. I would like to say that they're releasing it at like a $30 price point. But that's not going to happen, let's be honest. That's not going to happen, right? You're sure? I'm sure this thing is going to get released at $49.99 MSRP. And that's because this is $60. By the way, it used to be $30. Okay? $60. So $50 makes sense, but they're not going to sell them at that price point. Just not going to happen. And I've seen this repeatedly with Leatherman, and I'm not sure I understand what they're trying to do. Are they trying to hold on to the budget market? Are they trying to keep things high quality? I can't quite figure it out. On top of that, you have the new Leatherman Raptor variant, which came out, a tool, the Leatherman Raptor Rescue. I'm confused. They've rebranded them. But basically, the original version, which had the cutter that could fold out, that's staying priced at $79, I believe. Or is it? Yeah, $69. And basically, they're selling this other variant $10 cheaper. That's what I am sure of. And the problem is, and we didn't find this out until someone purchased one, it doesn't come with the sheath either. So it has less functions. It doesn't have the glass breaker. It's only $10 cheaper, and it doesn't come with that really impressive molded sheath that lets you, put it in open or closed for people who need to get access really quickly. Kind of strange, personally. And for that price, it justifies it even less. I think they're going to struggle with selling them, especially when you can buy cheaper shears of high quality that don't fold, but they're very, very good and compact. And then moving on to the last topic of the day. The Leatherman Crunch is still MIA. It's been 4 months, almost 5 months since it went out of stock on Leatherman's website. My friend Ben over at Texas Tool Crib has made a video about this. I made a video, which I took down because I basically said they definitely discontinued it. Because they responded to his and said, no, it's just out of stock. We shall see. I hope that's it. I hope they are just out of stock because it's a great tool and I would like to have it stay in the series, especially when you're bringing out stuff like the Bolster, and that is definitely not a good tool. Okay, so that's the end of it for today. I don't want to make it too long. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk again soon.